Yeah, I started off in Milano in 2002 as a drawer for De Agostini, and I started drawing like on scripts from other authors, very important authors, which some of them were working for Disney. And I enjoyed myself a lot, so I decided that I wanted to draw for Disney. Then I submitted my drawings to the Disney Academy that is now closed, but at the time was the main way to enter Disney as a drawer. And there my teacher was Stefano Turconi, which is well known in France because he published more than one book. And I was there and learned a lot. And then I didn't actually work for Disney at that time because I felt that I needed to find my space as an author. So I quit after I finished my course. I quit the drawing, and for some times I decided not to draw anymore because I felt that I wanted to find something to write on my own. So I decided to find a job and to think about what I really wanted to write, and I started to think about the story of Walt Disney, which I read while I was studying at the academy, and I started to study the story deeper and deeper and deeper. It was 2005, I think, and I kept writing it and rewriting it for like 10 years, I think. And meanwhile I was doing this, I started working on another book, which is this one, is La Principessa che amava il film horror, which is not published in France. And I finished this book, so I put on hold the story of Walt Disney, and then when I finished it, I felt that it was time to work on the story that I was working on for like 10 years. So this is my story as an artist now. I was interested in Roy Disney because when I started studying the story of Walt Disney, I realized that Walt was a great artist, but I couldn't understand how he managed to do all the empire that he created, and I tried to understand how he could manage both the artistic part and the economic part, and I found out that he wasn't alone. And when I started studying the story, I was working for a big enterprise in Italy, and I felt that all the things that I was doing were sort of Roy's job. So I tried both the creative part and then the management part, the managing part, managing people, managing money and all that stuff. And I felt that I had both of the views on the story of the Disney. And while the story of Walt has been told in more than one book, I felt that the story of Roy hadn't been told. So I felt that telling the story from Roy's side could put into light some of the biggest differences of the two kinds of mind that people can have. The creative mind and I don't know how can describe it, the more focused and more common ability to deal with life. I mean, The book is called The Moneyman because Moneyman is a way in which the producer of a movie was called in those years, because it's kind of a bad way to call the producer of a movie, because it's a way to say he's not the creative one, he's the guy that deals with money, and for the creative people that's a bad thing. Okay? And it's called The Moneyman because Roy Disney was the actual Moneyman. He was the one finding the money for Walt Disney to make the movies. Okay, I have never been a fan of the Disney World. I've always been a fan of the way they make the things, the way that they are linked to their stories and the consistency of their work. I always loved it, and I always loved the way that they could make money out of ideas, and the way that they could make ideas grow into different things like movies and comics and merchandising and all that stuff. And that's why I got really into this story, because I really loved all the work that they do in the background, and I think that most of the imprinting that Walt did in the years he was alive still lives now, and I've been working for Disney, so I feel that they're doing this nowadays. They're doing the same, and the consistency of their characters is the thing that I most love about Disney. Yes. The book came out first in Italy, and when my publisher told me that we were going to be published in France, I was amazed. I loved it, because that's what I really wanted to. That's what I really wanted for this book. I invented it. I wrote it thinking that this story should be growing in other countries, and the same happened in Germany, because the book it will be published in Germany soon, and I think that I have a special feeling for France, because I grew old, and I learned drawing reading French books, because I loved French artists. So to me, being here is fantastic. I am working on 3 projects now, and I still, since I'm working on 3 projects all together, I still haven't anything that I can actually show to the publisher. So I'm working on it. And I usually work with groups of people, so as in this book, so I'm really working to understand the fine-tuning between me and other authors, and I'm glad that I found very good authors for the next book, but I don't want to tell anything I really need to finish a bit of stuff before I go on.